the Empress of Zyvara, had never been to the lower districts of her empire. She had no reason to. Her palace was a fortress of silver towers and glittering bridges, and her attendants made sure she never needed to step beyond its glass walls. Yet, tonight, she sat in a shadowed corner of a bustling human-run restaurant, cloaked in anonymity, her golden crown replaced by a plain hood. Her eyes, sharp as twin suns, stayed fixed on her daughter. Princess Elira was seated at a table near the center of the hall, her thin frame supported by a hover chair. Her legs, once strong enough to climb the cliffs of their homeworld, lay unmoving under a silver blanket. A childhood illness had robbed her motion, and with it, much of her spirit. The Empress had brought her here in desperation. No medicine had revived Elira's joy. No court entertainers had sparked a smile. She thought perhaps the human city below might distract her, at least for one evening. But Elira sat quiet, her eyes downcast as other guests laughed and music filled the air. The Empress's heart ached, though she dared not show it. She was ruler of 1,000 systems, feared across the stars. Yet before her daughter's sadness, she felt powerless. Then, something unexpected happened. A young human waiter, balancing a tray of glowing drinks, stopped when he noticed the princess's stillness. He set the tray aside and crouched slightly to meet her gaze. "You don't like the music?" he asked gently, his voice carrying even in the noisy hall. Elira blinked, startled. Few people outside the palace dared speak so casually to her. She shook her head faintly. The waiter smiled. "Then maybe you'll like this instead." He stood, moved a chair aside, and with surprising grace began to dance. It wasn't the practiced formality of the palace dancers. It was loose, playful, and entirely unpolished. Spins, hops, a dramatic bow, then a silly shuffle that made nearby patrons laugh. The restaurant musicians noticed and shifted their tune, matching his rhythm with faster beats. And for the first time in years, Elira laughed. It wasn't loud, but it was real. Her eyes lit up, and her hands clapped together in delight. The Empress's breath caught. She hadn't seen her daughter smile like that since before the illness. Tears threatened to fall, but she held them back. No ruler should cry in public. The waiter bowed extravagantly, his mop of dark hair falling into his eyes. "Your Highness," he said with grin, as though he somehow knew who she was. "Would you do me the honor of a dance?" Elira tilted her head, confused. I can't." The hall grew quiet. The Empress's guard shifted uneasily in the shadows. But the waiter only smiled wider. "Sure you can," he said, stepping forward. "Just not the way you think." He carefully took her hand, placed her hover chair in motion, and began guiding her across the floor. With each spin and turn, he matched the chair's movements to his own feet, weaving her into his dance as though she were floating. The musicians followed, creating a rhythm that rose like starlight. The princess gasped, then laughed again, louder this time. Her silver hair shimmered as she lifted her arms, letting herself be carried by the dance. The hall erupted in cheers. Patrons clapped, some standing to watch, others joining the rhythm with their own steps. The Empress's hands tightened on her cloak. Something inside her, long frozen, stirred. She had ruled empires, crushed rebellions, and bent alien kings to her will. Yet it was this human, a simple waiter, who had done what no healer or servant could, awaken joy in her daughter's heart. When the music ended, the hall shook with applause. The waiter bowed again, breathless but grinning. "Thank you," Elira whispered, her cheeks flushed with happiness. "My pleasure, princess," he said softly. "You shine brightest when you smile." The Empress rose from her hidden seat. Her guard straightened, alarmed, but she raised a hand. The cloak fell back, revealing her face. Gasps filled the hall as everyone recognized the sovereign of Zyvara. The waiter froze, paling. "Your Majesty." The Empress's gaze pinned him. Silence swallowed the room. She approached slowly, every step a reminder of her power. The crowd bowed low, terrified. She stopped before him. He trembled, yet stood tall, shielding Elira instinctively, as though ready to protect her, even from her own mother. The Empress's lips curved faintly. "You are brave," she said, her voice carrying the weight of 1,000 thrones. And foolish, do you know the punishment for touching imperial blood without permission? The waiter swallowed hard. I don't, he admitted. But if it means she gets to laugh again, then I'll accept it. The hall held its breath. Alira gasped. Mother, no. He made me happy. Please don't hurt him. The Empress's stern mass wavered. She looked into her daughter's pleading eyes, then at the young human standing firm before her. Something inside her cracked open. An old wound she hadn't realized was bleeding. She reached out, not with the hand of an empress, but as a mother. She touched her daughter's cheek. No harm will come to him, she said quietly. Relief washed over the room. The waiter blinked in shock. Instead, the empress turned to him. What is your name, human? Kale, he said, voice steady now. Kale, she repeated, as if testing the sound. You have given me a gift tonight, one I could never command nor purchase. Her gaze softened, something no court had seen in decades. You reminded my daughter and me that joy still exists. Kale lowered his head respectfully. Then I'm honored, your majesty. The empress looked at Alira again. The girl's smile glowed brighter than the chandeliers. That night, the empress's life changed. She realized that all her power, all her wealth, meant nothing if her daughter remained in shadows. And perhaps she had kept herself in shadows too. She summoned Kale the next day. Instead of punishment, she offered him a place at the palace. Not as a servant, but as her daughter's companion and tutor in joy. Alira clapped her hands in delight at the news. Kale hesitated, glancing at his worn uniform. I'm just a waiter, he said. The empress smiled. No, Kale, you are the one who made a princess dance. And so, a new chapter began. In the months that followed, the palace transformed. Laughter returned to its echoing halls. Kale taught Alira the dances of humans, and she taught him the songs of her people. Together, they inspired not just the empress, but the empire itself. For the first time in years, the empress felt not only like a ruler, but like a mother and a woman who could still learn from the smallest acts of kindness. And all because one night, a human waiter dared to dance.